Hi YouTube, this is VidHead85 here, and I'm going to talk about a claim on PolitiFact. I will put the URL in the up here somewhere. And this is PolitiFact. PolitiFact has a case, or has an analysis of Tony Perkins' Face the Nation interview on June 30th, 2013 that said, we're already seeing bakers and florists and photographers forced to participate in same-sex marriages under the threat of jail or even fines. So they rate this following their analysis of the different states. First, after making that claim, Bob Schieffer said, how is it the bakers and florists are being forced to participate in that? I don't understand. So basically he says simply that if someone objects on religious grounds that they could face jail time, and they've been adjudicated in New Mexico. He says, so we're going to see a loss of religious freedom. There's no question about that. It's already happening. So when the Supreme Court struck down DOMA and Prop 8, it did not allow marriages in any other state that did not permit them. And the DOMA said federal recognition of those marriages in states where they are allowed will be recognized. Now, what they are mainly talking about is anti-discrimination laws. About 21 states have such things. They cite the story of a Masterpiece Cake Shop in Colorado. However, what ended up happening was when the Civil Unions Bill was passed, the Colorado legislature has decided to repeal the criminal penalties for discrimination in places of public accommodations, which had included up to a year in jail and a $300 fine. The provision had never been used, and so the repeal coincided with legislators passing a Civil Unions Bill. Stedman, State Senator Pat Stedman, Democrat of Denver, said a DA has to choose to file misdemeanor charges. It has never happened, and it never will. So since the Masterpiece Cake Shop incident occurred in 2012, it's possible that, given laws on the books at the time, that he could face jail, but it has not happened yet, so it is very unlikely. Ken Klukowski says it's no comfort to a person of faith to cite the frequency of persons criminally prosecuted and put behind bars, especially in a rapid changing legal environment, he said. The threat of prosecution has a chilling effect on people's behavior. Completed cases out of Vermont and New Jersey cite simply this. The Wildflower Inn in Vermont was told in 2010, they told a lesbian couple that they didn't host gay receptions because of the owner's personal feelings. After the lawsuit, it agreed to pay $10,000 civil penalty and place $20,000 in a charitable trust, and to stop holding weddings whether they're gay or straight. First half of the fine was paid. Second half is due in November. The owners didn't face jail based on the complaint itself, but could face jail time in the event that they have the money and try to thumb their nose at the law. And it's not used unless in very extreme cases, which would be like they have the money, but again, they're thumbing their law. They're thumbing their nose at the law. In New Jersey, the Ocean Grove Camp Meeting Association refused to allow a lesbian couple to hold a boardwalk ceremony at its pavilion in 2007. They were told that they could not they must cease and desist violating the law, but did not impose a fine or other penalty. They stopped renting out the pavilion for marriages, and the attorney who represented the association during the legal battle told PolitiFact that. Also, in a provision of the law states that anyone violating an order as a result of a legal challenge could face up to a year in jail time or fine. However, no attorney I've spoken with here is aware of that provision ever having been used to prosecute anyone, and there are no reported cases of it. Lee Moore, a spokesman for the state's Department of Law and Public Safety, told PolitiFact. Other pending cases are of Sweet Cakes by Melissa, whose co-owner allegedly told a lesbian couple they were abominations to the Lord and refused to fill the order. Klein told the media that he did not use that phrase and after the publicity, he received death threats and his wedding business fell by half. The couple contacted the Attorney General, but no cases have been filed with the agency whatsoever. New York's human rights law includes a provision that a person can be sent to jail for up to a year if they refuse to comply with an order, but they couldn't find any evidence of anyone having been sent to jail. A case against Liberty Ridge Farm, a New York wedding venue that refused to host a wedding for a lesbian couple, remains pending. Lisa Hardaway, spokeswoman for Lambda Legal in New York, says she'd never heard of jail time in such a case. She says, "This is an extreme scare tactics by opponents of equality for LGBT folks," she said in an email. "It's a good talking point, but it is not real." Other cases are pending in Washington and New Mexico, where a photographer's case is before the state's Supreme Court. So, they didn't find any cases where people were forced to participate against their will, but if vendors refuse service, there are consequences. 21 states that forbid discrimination based on sexual orientation. Vendors who refuse service there could face legal actions and fines. However, the jail part of this is, in fact, an exaggeration. So Attorney Tony Perkins' claim is half true. See you later, YouTube. And again, we're also going to let me differentiate that a lot of there are 13 states that have equality, marriage equality, but 8 more, there are 21 that have state anti-discrimination laws. This is what they've been fighting against forever because they can't make us second-class citizens under the law anymore. See you later, YouTube, and have a good day.